Okay. I had another one of those no way that's in the Bible things this last week. And of course, I can't keep it to myself because I'm like, oh God, I see you. So let me read this passage, and I'm sure you've heard it more than once. So it's Mark 15, verse 7, and it says, one of the prisoners at the time was Barabbas. So quick context, Jesus is on his way to the cross, and this was like the linchpin. One of the prisoners at the time was Barabbas, a revolutionary who had committed murder in an uprising. Okay, here's Pablo. The crowd went to Pilate and asked him to release a prisoner as usual. He said, "Would you like me to release to you this king of the Jews?" Pilate asked. And he's referring to Jesus, for he realized by now that the leading priests had arrested Jesus out of envy. Ew. But at this point, the leading priests stirred up the crowd to demand the release of Barabbas instead of Jesus. Pilate asked them, "Then what should I do with this man that you called King of the Jews?" They shouted, "Crucify him." "Why?" Pilate demanded. "What crime has he committed?" But the mob roared even louder, "Crucify him." So to pacify the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He ordered Jesus flogged with a lead. Okay, I can't even. I'm not ready to cry in this video so early. So this passage is all about the crowd choosing Barabbas instead of Jesus. Okay, here's the thing that I'm like, no way. So in Aramaic, Barabbas' name means son of the Father. If you've seen the passage in, I think it's Mark 15. I can't remember what it is. But Bartimaeus is the son, Bar, of Timaeus. So Bar is son. And Jesus, actually in the chapter before what I just read, Jesus is praying to God and he's saying Abba. So Barabbas, Bar, Abba, his name is son of the Father. Now, if you're anything like me, I have read these stories a million times and I'm like, I can't. Pablo, can you believe these guys chose Barabbas? I would never do that, And then I see like they had two choices. So Barabbas, he wasn't just some crazy dude. He was a guy that was technically fighting for the freedom of those people. They were oppressed by Rome because Roman had kind of taken possession and they were all up in the Jews' business. And Barabbas was a rebel and he was revolting against Rome because he wanted them out and killed somebody in the process. And so he was a criminal. And then there's Jesus, who also came to save these people, but not in the way they expected. Dang it. It was through his death and the cross and resurrection and uniting us with God through Christ. And so like I've looked at these people so many times and I've been like, I can't believe they chose Barabbas. And yet now that I'm older, I don't think that way. I'm like, oh my gosh, I chose Barabbas 12 times today. Here's what I mean. When I might be struggling with, maybe I'm stressed about, I don't know, whatever it is. I have two options. I can go to Jesus. I can go to God. I can share my struggle. I can surrender and say, I don't know how to handle this. I need your help. Or I can crack open my hot fries. Or I can go watch a show that maybe just kind of distracts me and numbs me and takes my mind off the problem, And I feel like as I read this and as I learned that thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I technically choose rescue from something else other than Jesus regularly. And that's one of my prayers this year is that God help me to ask you about everything, about whatever I'm stressed about, because I don't want to choose an answer that isn't from you, because frankly, any choice other than Jesus is not going to be one that works. Maybe it might feel like it helps in the intermediate, but long term, Jesus is the answer every single time. So my prayer for me and for you, in the event that sometimes you don't choose Jesus, and just let me clarify, we choose Jesus in the beginning of our relationship with God. A Christian means, I chose Jesus at some point, but the reality is not just a one and done thing. It is it is a day by day, minute by minute for some of us, So I pray that for you, first of all, if you don't know the peace and freedom and joy that comes through Jesus, my prayer is that you would make that decision to follow God and surrender to Jesus today. But if you've already done that, my prayer is that whatever it is that you're struggling with, don't choose the guy that can't save you. Whatever that might look like for you, I pray that today we would choose Jesus. Thanks, Pablo. You weren't so bad.